What's up, y'all? It's Monica at Out the Mud, here to introduce myself to you guys that are new to me and maybe reintroduce myself to those of you guys who may have been around for a while. Like I said, my name is Monica. I am a native Tennessean, born and raised. Love Tennessee, good, bad, and ugly. I have felt this need to get back to my roots, so to speak, and grow my own food ever since my grandmother passed away. She passed away in 2011. I'm an entrepreneur, so I've been a full-time real estate broker, own my own real estate brokerage for many years, and that has taken the front seat to everything because, that's what pays the bills. So I've not been able to focus full-time on farming or homesteading like I would like because of that. I do have another business too that kind of took priority for the last couple of years, and that's an online business. I did really well in that, and that's kind of tapering down now. So now is a perfect time for me. I'm getting my focus back on farming and doing all of the things necessary, first and foremost, to make sure that my family has food on the table, right? I just learned how to can, and so here in the months ahead, you'll see me building up a pantry. I want to have at least 12 months of food by this time next year in my pantry and always be adding to that pantry. So you'll see me do that. You'll be coming along for the ride with that. As an entrepreneur, though, it's hard for me not to figure out a way to solve people's problems in order to make sure I've got money coming in every month. Because while my ultimate goal is to be a homesteader full time, I want a homestead with all the conveniences, right? I don't want to necessarily rough it, if you will. And so I know that I'm going to have cash flow in order for that to happen. So I'm always thinking outside the box of how I can accomplish becoming a full-time homesteader while maintaining cash flow. And that typically is going to involve solving people's problems, because having been an entrepreneur as long as I have, I know that money, in fact, does grow on trees. And the way that happens is that you solve people's problems. As long as people have problems to solve, then you can make money. It's just a matter of thinking outside of that proverbial box. So the more you get to know me and the more you see me do things, you'll see that manifest itself. Like if there is a problem to be solved and I can help solve it, or if I can go bring the solution to the table, brokering the solution, if you will, then I'm going to be doing that as well. So case in point, I started my farm back in 2019 officially, and my ground is very rocky here in Murfreesboro where I'm located. Lots of big, huge boulders. There is no digging, right? So when I started my farm, well, even a step before that, I wanted to do mushrooms because I was going vegan. I thought mushrooms would be a great cash crop. Tried that in buckets. That didn't work well. So I had to pivot, and I'll be pivoting a lot. If you're with me any period of time, you're going to pivot, child. I'm telling you. So then, when I realized that mushrooms wouldn't work, I said, well, what can I do with regard to vegetable production? Can't do any tilling. Wouldn't want to till anyway, based on what I've learned about the soil. But the rocks would keep me from it here in Murfreesboro. So there was a situation where a friend of mine said, there's this nonprofit that needs so many vegetables. They needed like a whole bunch of vegetables, right? And fruits. And they called me up to see if I could help. And I'm like, I can't grow that much by this time. And even if I could, my ground wouldn't allow for it. So just an example of how I think outside the box or brokering a solution. This nonprofit, Catholic Charities, had a donor who had some funds that they were going to donate, but they had earmarked those funds so as to require certain things happen by a certain date in order for the funds to be released. So when my friend contacted me about this situation that they had, immediately the light bulb went off and I said, okay, I can make this happen. I don't have the capabilities of providing them with all of these fruits and vegetables by this particular date, but I can find the people who do, right? So I'm in zone 7A, and this particular situation was, I think it was spring of 2021. If I'm not mistaken, I might have my dates wrong, but they wanted all these mature fruits and vegetables by like June, right? And in 7A, hardiness zone 7A, our last frost date is like late April. So there was no way I was going to be able to have strawberries and sweet potatoes and greens and green beans and apples and all of these different things. But I think they wanted it by like June the 1st. There was just no physical way. So like I said, I put on my creative hat, my broker hat. I found farmers in zone 8 that had those things coming out of the ground in time for me to be able to get them to Catholic Charities. I connected with those farmers via a contract. I also found a truck driver who was able to get those produce items from Louisiana to Tennessee and, made all of those things happen. I have an extra property on my land. So the truck driver, I was able to negotiate not only a price, but to make sure he had a place to stay overnight. We put him up in that apartment on my property. He did not have a reefer. And for those of you guys who are familiar with trucking, a reefer is a refrigerated trailer. And coming from Louisiana with watermelons and perishable items, you know that it's important to be able to have those items cooled, or else you're going to have a mess on your hands. And we're talking, May, June. So the temperatures were kind of getting up there in that part of the country. So we negotiated everything and figured out that we would need to make the trip in the coolness of the night. So these are the things that I do. We think outside of the box. If there's a problem, you solve it in a creative way. That's what you are going to get with me, right? I am always trying to figure out solutions to problems, and that's how you monetize things. And again, this is the way that you're going to have to think if you are like me and you're trying to get to be a homesteader full time and you think, okay, how is this ever going to happen? You're going to have to start thinking outside of the box. So that's me in a nutshell. I hope I mentioned that I'm a mom of 4 boys. I think I might have mentioned, but if I didn't, I'll mention it if I mention it now. My boys, I'm super proud of. My oldest son has a real estate license. My second born is about to have his first boxing match. He's going to be an amateur boxer. That's coming up soon. My third oldest son is about to be he's 17, about to be 18. And he is taking his last year to in high school. He's been doing the online school thing so he can actually work and start saving money. He's going to be getting his real estate license soon. And my baby boy, he's this, I won't say this out loud, but I will. He's the smartest of them all because he benefited from his 3 older brothers, right? And so he's super bright. He's in all advanced classes, took the AP exam for one of those classes last year, and just super bright and just very insightful. Doesn't love to read, but when he reads, I love to hear his take on things. So super proud mom. None of them have expressed interest in farming though, but they tolerate me, right? They help me. My younger 2 were the ones that helped me at the farmer's market. They helped me process all the rabbit fertilizer when we got that started. We would go, and they were homeschooled at the time, so they were helping me out a lot. So yeah, that's me. I'm a mom first. I'm doing all of this for them. The house that we're in now is actually, it's kind of crazy how we got here because we were living in Nashville, and it was a hard time. I was behind on my mortgage, and I ended up getting a foreclosure notice. So they've been through that stress with me. And and I think this was my grandmother's doing. I actually was able to sell that house just in a couple of days. And even though I was going through foreclosure, which if you've been through foreclosure, you know how stressful that is. And you know how much it messes up your credit. And you know how difficult it is to try to finance anything, right? So after I sold the house, I was able to buy not 1, not 2, but 3 houses on 5 acres. So if that ain't God, I don't know what is. Mother was totally all over that, right? So they saw all of that happen, and they have seen God bless us over and over again. And so they know how important it is to mommy for me to get this homesteading going and to grow my own food and raise my own food. And hopefully I'm doing all this for them. So hopefully one day they will do it as well. But right now they've got their own thing that they want to do. And I'm happy for them for that. But this will always be there for them. So that's my story. That's basically it in a nutshell. I'd love to hear more about what you want to know so that we can do, so that I can do, different, pieces about just exactly what you want to do. But My thing now is I love to teach. So whatever I learn, I like to pass it along so that other people can do it. So be sure to check out my website, Out the Mud Farm. There's always going to be opportunities for you to learn there. And that's basically it. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for following me, subscribing. I appreciate it very much. And so that's what you're going to get more of, is the journey that I'm going through, and it's probably going to be crazy, and you're going to get whiplash from pivoting back and forth. It's like a tennis match. But if you're for it, if you like it, I love it. So I'll talk with you soon, and yeah, peace.